Hello, friends. Steve Sipress here on Topical Tuesday, October 3rd, 2017. Rhino of the day is, check this guy out. This is a genuine clay, fired clay, colorful rhino, proudly made in, can you read that? Is it upside down? Is it right side up? Am I just being silly? In the Republic of South Africa. So he has traveled a long way to be with you tonight. And you see he has a hole at the top, which might be for a candle. I don't know. Never used it for anything other than it looks cool and it's fun. And it's a rhino, the symbol of the entrepreneur. And now that I look in the background of the rhino I got up on the wall, the background of that rhino is similar to this entire rhino, which is appropriate for today's topic for Topical Tuesday, which is look at how divided this rhino is. Parts of them are blue, yellow, red, green, black, all these different colors. And the one behind me is adding in some orange and white. And so red, green, blue, yellow, you got all these different colors. One rhino, whole rhino, however, divided up into all kinds of different parts and totally separated. I mean, the yellow is totally separated from the blue, totally separated from the red, and so forth. And so you're seeing that today here in the U.S. and likely all around the world. I have clients all around the world. I don't talk to them about this a lot, but certainly in America, you see it all the time, this divisiveness. And so take any example of what's going on in the news these days. You got, we've pretty much forgotten that it was earth-shattering, oh, I don't know if I'll live till tomorrow, what's going on in North Korea. Nobody even about it anymore, even though the situation is still the same. Of course, it's not about the situation, so you were just kind of my point. It's about how much attention can you get for yourself by simply being controversial and divisive. And so you're seeing politicians do that masterfully. North Korea, with all the hurricanes. Is aid getting there quick enough, well enough? Is everyone being helped, or are you racist if you don't help? Such an impossibly stupid comment and concept, but it's divisive, which makes it good for getting attention. Controversy and divisiveness is the key to getting attention. So you're going to see the news media, I mean, that's their job, is get attention more than ever. When I was a kid, and maybe a lot of you watching this, there were 3 channels on TV, and then there were a few that you had to get by going up to channel 47 and whatever. But there were 3 main channels, that was it. Now there's all kinds of cable channels, there's all kinds of things on the internet, there's all kinds of places people go to get their news. So it behooves the news media or the bloggers or anyone creating anything to get your attention to have to work a lot harder to get people's attention. Can't just say news at 11. That's a big mistake. If it's, 9 o'clock, that's 2 hours. They're already tuning out and going to some website or looking on social media or going to another channel or whatever. So don't expect that you could just say, we'll have details coming up in an hour and people are going to stick with you. Come back. Those are the old days. That's how easy it was to keep or get people's attention. Now it's got to be like some momentously stupid things have to be said all the time. So who's great at doing this? Politicians are awesome at saying and doing stupid, divisive things all the time. The media people, of course, and entertainers, of course. So, what was I saying? You got North Korea, you got hurricanes. And then you got this NFL, Colin Kaepernick dividing the whole, being more divisive than any single player's ever been in the history of the NFL. When I was a kid, my idol was Joe Namath. He wore white shoes. That wasn't allowed. It was against the rules. You don't wear white shoes. That was divisive. There were players that said, what a hot dog, and not being a team player, and, I want to tackle him extra hard and break his legs just because he's being a showboat right in front, all that kind of stuff. He was being divisive. He got attention. He made a lot of money. Joe Willie Namath signed the biggest contract as a rookie in the history of the NFL back then, $407,000 or something in 1965 or whatever it was. Like nowadays, of course, that's not even a rookie makes more than that. But he then went on to much notoriety, right? Joe Namath, much more famous for just being Joe Namath than for being a great statistical quarterback. I think if you line up all the quarterbacks in the entire NFL Hall of Fame, Like Joe Namath has the worst statistics, any of them, threw the most interception, had the least completion percent, and all that kind of stuff. But it was Joe Namath, whoa! And so I used to be a New York Jets fan, and it's like well established. Anywhere you look for bloggers or any websites that talk about the New York Jets, they're like, hey, who's the greatest Jet of all time? Well, obviously that's Joe Namath, but among the rest, who's the best? Like, and yet not statistically great, but great at being controversial and therefore getting lots of attention, right? So entertainers are great at it. You saw right away, and what's the latest one now is this ridiculous, heinous, outrageous, evil, all the words you want to use for it, this shooting in Las Vegas. I mean, one of my clients was in the Mandalay Bay that night of the shooting. What night was it? It's already seems like it's so long ago. Was it Saturday, Sunday, Friday? I don't remember. But he was a few floors above, and several other friends and associates of mine were at two different events that were going on in the Mandalay Bay that night. So I know a bunch of people who were there. They're all safe. Of course, they were above the floor. But can you ever erase seeing that in your life? They look down at mass murder being committed. I mean, that's just crazy. So, but right away, the people that know how to get attention pedal to the metal. So you got one side going, gee, this is obviously, exacerbated. This is how all this violence is being caused by leftists who believe, like Madonna comes out and says at the, around the inauguration, they had that women's rally. Oh, I thought about burning down the White House. Kathy Griffin, cuts off a fake head of Donald Trump and makes a video or takes photos of it or whatever. And Johnny Depp says, oh, it's about time we had another, assassinate another president or whatever. And then you got Antifa going around and claiming they're anti-fascist, but of course being violent against of all things against free speech, like one of the most fundamental liberty in America. And you would think that people on the left would be in favor of free speech. They always were until now. So the whole world's turned upside down because you got people on the right are blaming these people on the left of like, hey, violence is okay. They don't come out against it enough. So they're enabling people to be violent. Outrageous, ridiculous, divisive comment, right? And then you got people on the right are coming out and going, well, oh, that's the right. Then you got people on the left are going, well, the people on the right are to blame because they're in favor of the Second Amendment. And just because they allow law-abiding citizens to own guns, that I guess therefore they're causing nutcases to also open fire and own guns. And we need more control by the government over everything in life, including guns. And of course, I think pretty much the cities with the most gun control have the most gun violence. So how ridiculous. And I don't see when all the massive wildfires are spreading that there's any call for confiscating all the matches, or we need match control, or there shouldn't be, long wooden burning matches because those can cause more fires, or every time a van mows over people in Europe, no more rental vans, they shouldn't be allowed. Like pressure cooker bomb goes off on Patriots Day at the Boston Marathon. Oh, all pressure cookers should not be allowed. There should be pressure cooking control. Like there should be knife control. Like there are knifings, there are shootings. Automatic weapons. He modified it illegally to shoot an automatic. That ought to not be allowed. So the people on the left are blaming the people on the right. The people on the right blame the point is they all know better than that, and you ought to too. None of them believes anything they're saying. But they know how to get attention. That's their job. Entertainers, athletes who are entertainers, right? Colin Kaepernick knows how to get attention. He starts out by just sulking on the bench because he got demoted because he's not that good a quarterback, the second string. And then it's like, hey, don't just do that. Why don't you name a cause? Look at all the attention you got. Start kneeling and protesting and claim it's about protesting against the flag. And then a year later, players are claiming they're not protesting against the flag. I mean, because it's none of that. It's just we know how to get attention. Pro athletes know how to get attention. Entertainers know how to get attention. Politicians, people in the media know how to get attention. And what am I getting at? Sharp business owners also know how to get attention. We know how to be controversial to get attention. So that's the lesson here, is use divisiveness to your own good. Don't sit there and go like, oh, I'm not going to be divisive. Good luck then competing with anyone. Now you can. If someone in your marketplace, whether that's your town, your city, your state, country, worldwide, depending on what you're selling and where, If you are lucky enough to have no competition doing anything smart to outmarket you, then sure, you can just be just another dentist, be just another lawyer, and just another mechanic, and just another plumber, and just another anything, and you can make money. But as soon as anyone comes along who follows what I teach or becomes one of my clients make a ton of money because I help them how to be controversial, how to make controversial statements. Right at the title of this video, I mentioned Gordon Gekko from Wall Street. That's a movie from like 30 years ago or something. Like, people remember that speech because it's such a ridiculous statement. Greed is good. He made a whole speech. Greed is good. I'm sure you got a video on YouTube about it, right out of the movie. Like, I remember it all. Other than that, greed is good. And greed is good. Greed is one of the 7 deadly sins, or however many there are, or whatever. Like, greed is, that's controversial to say something that's a sin and say it's good. And so that got a lot of attention for that movie and for the actor. And they made a sequel, and I think another sequel, and whatever, like, all coming out of that concept that's controversial. What are you doing in your business to use this to your advantage, to be controversial, to say some things that are way out there? Give an example. I can give you a whole bunch of examples. I'll save those for people to contact me personally. My clients all know them because I help them do them. It's one way I help them make a lot of money. This rhino knows it. He knows being all one color. What? That's for the 99% of rhinos. I'm going to be in the 1%. I'm going to be divisive. I'm going to have all different colors. So I'm going to say that red is the perfect color for a head of a rhino. Or maybe it was the artist saying that. Like, blue is the perfect color for legs of a rhino. Front and back. How about that? And black is a great color for the underbelly. And green is a great color for the top. Whatever. He said, I'm going to get attention. If you saw 100 rhinos on a shelf and 99 of them were all what rhinos should be, gray and wrinkly, and I've got them all over the place here, like typical regular rhinos. Here's my rhino letter opener is one. There you go. So that's a typical, there it is, brown, gray rhino, anatomically looking like a rhino. The rest of mine are on shelves all over. Here's one on my, it's metal, so it sticks to my file cabinet. There you go. That's normal gray rhino, looks exactly like a real rhino. Well, that's how 99% of rhinos are. But then this one comes along, and if I line this one up with all the other gray, wrinkly, normal-looking, regular, lifelike rhinos, this will get all the attention. People will go, look at that one. It stands out. That's what works. So you see the politicians doing it. You see people in the media doing it. You see athletes doing it. You see entertainers doing it. And you see sharp business owners doing it. So the question is, if you're not doing it already, when are you going to start doing it? Okay? Take advantage of all kinds of things going on all the time that you can be controversial about. Start getting attention, and then that's the start, once you know what to do after you just get the attention, to turning that into clients, customers, members, patients, cash, profits. Make sense? All right. Hey, Donna is here. Dog, Greg, Bo, and Chad is here. Great seeing you. Nathan's here. Phil Brakefield, thanks for being here. Great comment from Nathan, who says, polarize equals monetize. I like that. I'm stealing it. And I'm going to end with that, since I don't see any questions, comments, or concerns other than that one. There it is, folks. Polarize equals monetize. So you have choices on social media. It's crazy what's going on social media. I mean, people are serious. They're seriously deranged about all kinds of events and things going on all the time. It's the most earth-shattering thing. It's the worst thing in the world that, that this guy did this and he said that and hoo-ha or whatever. Like, I always say, get on the right side of the cash register. You're buying all that BS. Stop buying the BS that everyone's dishing out and start selling it instead. Start dishing it out. And I don't mean BS as far as, because I'm known as Straight Talk Steve, a no BS guy. Like, I don't mean give BS advice or BS service or don't be truthful to people. I'm talking about spew some divisive, I call it divisive. I hear people saying divisive. I don't know how you really pronounce it, but spew some of that divisive stuff out there and watch what happens. And you don't have to go too far, because you can really do divisive stuff that is fairly what you believe. So let's take like Hillary Clinton. She believes, and millions of Americans do, that there's real, and I grew up in a middle-class suburb of New York City where there wasn't anyone that I knew in my town or my family or my friends or anyone that even owned a gun or thought there was any usefulness to owning a gun. Nobody was a hunter. Nobody felt they needed to protect themselves or any other, or like just shooting targets or entering competitions, shooting. Like no one thought there was anything useful or good about owning a gun. So everyone just focused on the negative things. That's all I grew up with. Like, oh, you know, guns are dangerous. They might go off by accident. You kill you. Or, you know, even if you use them in supposedly self-defense, you would kill somebody. And, you know, just call the cops. Like, well, you know, now as an adult, I happen to actually live here in the middle of nowhere. I'm looking at a fantastic, beautiful purple mountain majesties and wide open desert out here. And, you know, good luck. If really somebody wanted to come here causing my beautiful wife, Michelle, and I some kind of trouble, like, we'd be dead long before the cops would ever show up. So I sleep very well at night, hoping that every single one of these houses I see, every one of my neighbors owns guns, and everyone knows that, and no one's coming around here to mess with anyone in this area, because we're not sitting there going, oh, you know, I don't see any good in having a gun. So, but Hillary Clinton believes, as a lot of city-dwelling, you know, leftist government is the answer to everything people, that can't be anything good about a gun. Well, except we want our own bodyguards to have them, and we want the government to have them, we want the police to have them, but we hate the police. Wait a minute, we don't like the abuse of the police, that they shoot people when they have guns, but we want them to have guns. Like, see how when you rationally think about it, it makes no sense. But she's going to come right out and say, like, oh, I saw something. See, talk about stupid. She said something like, and I saw actually a friend of mine on social media, who is clearly suffers from Trump derangement syndrome, is constantly posting stupid things like this. They both said the same thing, like, oh, there's a law right now in Congress that passed about allowing silencers, and that's going to cause more of these. Silencers. The guy is like in a hotel room with like 20 rifles. I don't know anything about guns, but I'm pretty sure you don't put silencers on rifles, nor would it matter at all. So that's just, but Hillary Clinton and her aides and her PR people are sharp enough to say, hey, opportunity. There was a shooting of some kind. Let's look at what gun news there is about what's going on with the NRA or Second Amendment people, and let's tie them together, no matter how ridiculous. Let's do it. That'll get a lot of attention. That's how it's done, folks. Okay, so why are you allowing the entertainers and the football players and the politicians and the media people to be the only ones saying and doing stupid things about North Korea, hurricanes, NFL, you know, disrespecting the flag, mass murdering, shooting hundreds of people you don't even know and can't even see? Like, you know, why are you allowing all people to use those to be controversial? Why aren't you doing that yourself? Okay. Nathan says, Jerdog tells me that all the time. There you go. So now I know Nathan is here. Good old Jerdog, a very successful sharp marketer himself of comedians. And comedians do it great too. Well, I guess I group them in with entertainers. Tough to see. Now, Jerdog is still here. Nathan, are you a comedian? Like, tell me, like, do comedians become famous by telling milquetoast jokes that don't ruffle any feathers and are politically correct? And, you know, like, not that I know of. Like, you know, let's name some comedians, like George Carlin, like Lenny Bruce, like Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Jerry Seinfeld. I mean, these people are not politically correct. They are making some observations out there. They are pissing some people off and saying some kind of crazy, I mean, otherwise, like, you're going to pay your $10 cover, go in, see the comedian, go home and go, I already don't remember anything he said. Like, got to say something controversial. And Nathan says you got to be PC, man. Like, I don't know any entertainer or comedian who's ever said such a thing if they like making money. And Nathan then says, I'm an R-rated comedy magician. Well, yeah, there you go. R-rated magician. So Penn and Teller, similar to that. And I'm sure you might even go a little further than that. There are those R-rated hypnotists, is what I'm thinking of. I had one once at an event I had, like the R-rated hypnotist. You know, I'm not just going to make you squawk like a chicken. I'm going to make you think that you're naked and blah, blah, blah. And I don't remember, but it was that. But I remember there was some controversial stuff about it. And the audience was like, ooh, I would give you a warning, audience. If such and such and such and such is not for you, you should leave now. Because this is going to, well, what do you think that does? That gets people to go, wow, I got to show up and see that. Okay, Phil is saying Rocky Balboa said Creed is good. Not sure he said that, but then again, I did watch Rocky 1, and then I thought there might be a chance the next one would be good, but it was horrible, and that was it for watching the Rocky movies. With the first one was spectacular, and Apollo Creed, pretty sure Rocky did not say he was good. That was like his arch enemy. And I think later on, yeah, from what I remember, they had a rematch, they became friends, partners, something like that, whatever. But I know that's a meaningless little attempt at some humor there and a little pun there, so I commend you for that, especially even attempting humor in a room where there are professional comedians here. Lindsay is here, hello, and yeah, Nathan talks about Squeal Like a Pig from Deliverance. That movie, people remember that, Squeal Like a Pig. They remember that scene. If the whole movie was we're canoeing down the river, whoop-de-doo, like who would remember that? That would be a documentary for National Geographic, and you would forget about it. And oh, we got a banjo player, but even the banjo player was controversial. It was a idiot savant banjo player. Like that's memorable also. But the rest of the movie was just fishing and hunting and camping and canoeing. Like great. That describes, you know, activities I've done. Like, nobody made a movie about that. They made a movie when they were Squeal Like a Pig and idiot savant playing dueling banjos. Okay, that's about it for today. It looks like you guys get it. So good for you. And I don't know, I know some of you are my clients that are here or were members of my group and learned it. Hopefully you learn it, you practice it, and hopefully you spread it to anyone else you really care about who owns a business, because we like to see small businesses make money. Too many small business owners are great at doing whatever their thing is to do. They're not good at all. They totally suck at getting and keeping money coming in. And if you don't do that, man, I know there's a point because you don't have a boss, but come on now, you got take the bull by the horns. You got an opportunity if you've had the balls to start a business. Now have the huge balls to be controversial and outspoken and say some divisive things and get attention, and then know how to convert that attention into making money. Fair enough. Ace is here. Speaking of guns and gun control and stupid things people said, Ace is a leader in the hunting and gun field. He's written books about it. And so, but unfortunately, you've come just at the tail end, Ace. So that's it for Topical Tuesday. Unless anybody has anything else to share, I'm all ears. The more controversial, the better. And thanks for the likes. Anyone that was shooting those things across the bottom of the screen, I still don't know what they are, but they were different colors and they're popping and exploding, and that's all cool. We like that, only because I know Facebook likes that. And otherwise, Facebook pretty much sucks. I mean, their rules suck, and all kinds of, you know, things that they do to not show your stuff to people, and all kinds of nefarious ways they manipulate their algorithms and show you stuff that they want you to see. And, you know, you think 2016 election was rigged. Wait till you see what happens in the next one and every one in the future. Like, especially if this Facebook guy runs for office. Wait till you see the manipulation and the crap that goes on from them. See, there you go. On Facebook, I said Facebook sucks. See, there's an example right there, folks. Follow that, get attention, and convert that into some profits for yourself. And Ace says guns are, I don't see it, but guns are period. But he says people are good or bad. Okay, don't know what that means. I will stick around a couple of seconds to kind of, do you want to, is there like an Ace to English translation I'm going to get? People are good or bad. Okay, I'm pretty sure there's some in between there too, but sure. Guns are period. Oh, guns are. Got it. See, if I stuck around long enough, I didn't need you to respond. I got it. Guns just are. People are good at. Yeah, see, that's the right-wing view of it. The Second Amendment advocate view of it is guns are just a tool. Like I said, I grew up in an area where people didn't see guns as a tool. They only saw the bad part of guns, because in my suburban community of New York City, like, nobody owned a gun. Nobody thought of owning a gun. All they talked about all the dangers of guns and the problems with guns. Nobody I knew growing up ever went hunting or went shooting or any of that stuff. There was no thought that guns have any positive use for them. So they weren't seen as a tool the way, when you sit there and go, well, let's ban all knives. Like, well, but knives, I cut my steak with a knife. So I could use a knife, or I could rent a van once in a while. So vans are a good tool. Just because some people use them for bad, they're still a good tool. And matches, I use those to light fireplace fires and light cigarettes and, light a campfire when I'm camping. So even though they cause billions of dollars worth of damage in wildfires, we can't ban or control matches at all. You see, they're a useful tool. When it comes to guns, no use there. No use of guns, say city people, liberals. That's why the whole conversation is non-starter. They're coming from the place where they don't see any utility in a gun. You just see the downside. Then there's the other side that sees all the utility in a gun and can't understand why you would even think of banning them or taking them away. And every little bit of putting any kind of control or restriction on them is seen as a slippery slope. See, you just want to take them also. The whole thing's going to go on forever, and those that know how to fan the flames of that are going to consistently get attention. Some are going to make money off, some are going to win political office off it, and by winning political office, of course, for most of them, their only purpose of doing that is to make a lot of money off it. So that's how it works. Ace has some more comments. They are, yep, got that. Meaning they are an inanimate, can't do, I got that. See, I got it eventually. Guns are as evil as hammers or knives or cars. Yeah. Like I said, not a lot of people agree. And Ace says, I carry a gun every day, everywhere that is legal, which is why I love being with you. Because I know that, long before the police are even thinking of getting the call to show up to somewhere, like, no one's going to mess with Ace. And so it's how people feel that believe in self-reliance, independence, freedom, and then there's about half the country believes in government's good and government controls and government rules and government is better than individuals. And that's what's going on in the U.S. Take advantage, folks. Take advantage. Learn how to polarize so you can monetize. Learn how to divide so you can conquer. Learn how to be controversial so you can get attention. That's it for Topical Tuesday, October 3rd, 2017. Thanks for being with me today, and I'll be back here tomorrow for Wisdom Wednesday. I hope you will join me then. Bye-bye. Yes, I'm clicking on the finish. I'm finishing. See there, I wasn't clicking for a sec. And so we're still live, aren't we? So maybe I should just stick around until my internet goes out, which happens once in a while. That'll end the video. Otherwise, it's just kind of funny. It won't stop. Should I just shut down my computer? Oh, I'll unplug the camera. That'll do it. Well, I don't know if that'll stop.